Hello, my name is Andy Morera, and of course many of you know me as Chichi Pampa, but for this video I would like to commemorate a special person who was in a way special to me. In the morning of November 27th, there was an accident involving a motorcycle, and although there were people who were injured, there was still one person confirmed death throughout the whole accident. That person was a 17-year-old boy named Eric Parisi. And although I haven't spoke or associated with Eric in over a year before his death, it still shocked me of how a person that I knew and that was a bit close to me was gone in an instant. And to pay my respects, I would like to tell my side of the story of how I knew him, of how I met him, and how close of a friend Eric was to me. To start it all off, me, Eric, and a few other friends, we met in our freshman year of high school. To those who remember him from Nature Coast, or at least my friends in this case, you know as much as I do that he could kind of be a pain in the butt sometimes. During our lunch period, he'd often shove your shoulders like surprisingly hard out of nowhere. To me, he would lock my fingers, actually lock them, so like when I try to get him out, it would hurt. He would smack your back or your neck. Of course we'd smack him back. He'd often finger tase you. And the strangest thing, he would make spray paint noises. Like, I don't know if you guys remember this, but he'd go like, tss, tss, like all up in your face. Eric, he would do anything to like physically annoy you. But that's not saying he wasn't fun to be around. Because when he's not doing that stuff to you, he's doing it to other people. And it was honestly hilarious to see him piss people off with his little finger tases and spray paint noises. Eric was the best, dude. He was the best. Like, there was never, I don't remember a dull day. Like, not having, it was always an interesting day every time I walked by Eric. Like, you never know. You never know if you're gonna get pranked or if he's gonna prank somebody else. You never know if you're gonna get tased or is that guy gonna get tased. Who's gonna get pissed off? Are you gonna get pissed off by Eric? I don't know. Because he just does these things. But the little things that I remember, it makes me miss Eric more. Not having him in this school or with us. As you can see, I have shifted location a bit to continue the video. As you can see, many tripods and camera equipment and stuff like that. Big computer screens, you know, the galore. And I've decided to do that because I wanted to represent the only class I had with Eric, which was DVP, a film and editing course that we had a lot of good times at. And another reason is because I'm trying to get to a story which really shows the character of Eric, in my opinion. Well, to know the story that I'm trying to get to, you have to know somewhat about the class. You see, in this class, it's obviously a film and editing course, and so every assignment given in this class is to make a movie. And so, the biggest event this class holds is called the Brucies. Now, the Brucies are like the Grammy Awards for the movies that are made in this class, and it's always held at the local movie theater, like Beacon. To go to that specific event, you have to buy a ticket, and every so and so, those tickets, they sell out pretty quick. About a day or so, they're already halfway done. To get to the story I'm trying to tell, it was my sophomore year, and I waited more than a week. I waited more than a week to buy one of my tickets, and they've been sold out for like 4 days. Keep in note that they sell all about like 400 something tickets. So saying that it was sold out in 4 days was completely crazy. But yeah, during that time I was kind of devastated because I had the chance to watch one of my creations on the actual big screen. So it kind of made me upset and a little depressed that I couldn't go. But then you know who shows up? Eric. You know, Eric saw that I was a bit depressed, and as his friend, he invited me to come with him. He knew how much the Bruceys kind of meant to me. He knew how much I loved making these movies. You have to know about me, because every time I make these projects, I make them for like a silly purpose. I love making the comedies galore. You know that because of the YouTube channel that I have. It's all about comedy. Do the same thing. I don't take the project seriously, but I love seeing people watch my stuff. That's how much the Bruceys meant to me. And Eric knew that too. So he decided to invite me to the Bruceys. Like, that was the type of person Eric was. He'd go out his way to do just something that small to make a person feel better about themselves. I don't know, like... To get to the point, we both went to the Bruceys. I waited for him at the movie theater, and he showed up. We were both a little bit snazzy, you know what I'm saying? And we saw all the films. Of course, one of my films wasn't up there, you know. I'm a silly guy. I don't make serious stuff, but, you know. It was really nice of him to do that. That's like one of the most genuine things that someone's ever done for me as a friend. To go further with the timeline I'm trying to stick to here, the school year was near to an end, and we get the announcement from Eric that he's gonna be moving schools, and it was kind of devastating to hear that he's gonna be moving to Springstead, our rival, and it was kind of sad not seeing him in school anymore. But, you know, me, our friends, and Eric, we were all pretty good friends, so what we decided to do at the very end at the first day, if I remember, at the first day of summer break, we all went to Locomo, which is our local skate park, and we all hung out there. And from that day, we knew that we could never be that apart from each other, because we still have like our friendship to be holding on to. And then later in the year, Eric did apply for a job at Locomo, at the same skate park I'm trying to talk about. And throughout junior year, or throughout the later days, we would hang out at that skate park, and we'd see him there. So it's like in a way we miss him, but we don't, because we still get to see him. But then junior year and the summer vacation following, me and my friends, I don't think we actually had that much association with him. One of the last times I have ever actually talked to Eric was the summer vacation that has been leading up to this year, which is the summer vacation of me becoming a senior. And I was bored one day, and I decided, you know what, it's been a while since I actually talked to him, so I hit up Messenger, and you know, he actually picked up his phone, and we actually talked a bit. We were doing our usual joke selves, like, hey, Hungarian, hey, Cuban, like he said that he was going to Hungary, if I remember the conversation. We had a weird conversation about, like, which country's better, Hungary or Cuba, and, well, school starts, and it was the second quarter of my senior year, and I get the news that, Eric has supposedly passed away, and the only thing that I blame myself for doing is that once I heard that he has passed, I literally went to the bathroom the second after, and by the death of me, I never shed a tear for Eric that time. I never shed a tear, a single tear. I waited 5 minutes in the bathroom. Not a single one. I was ashamed of myself that time. Like, me not crying for one of my friends is saying that I was a terrible friend, or that I had no good times with him at all, which is not true. And every single time I look back at that moment, it haunts me a little bit. But yeah, the morning of the next whole day, I did ball up a bit, full of tears, and so once I heard that Eric's funeral was the following Sunday, I knew that I wasn't going to cry, because I already had all the emotions built up out of me. Boy, was I wrong. As walking into the church that his funeral was held at, the first thing you notice is his casket and 2 projectors projecting his picture. And I looked at that picture. I looked at his actual face, and that smile and everything that I saw from that picture. And as I look at it, I soon realized how it felt being with Eric, how all the stuff he did at Nature Coast and all that crazy stuff he did with the bruises and all that. I started to cry in front of a stranger. I started crying right there. People started offering me seats, and people who I never met put their hands on my shoulders and stuff like that. And I remembered Eric that day. I remembered him. I remembered all the stuff that he's done. As the funeral went on, there was one person that spoke about Eric that really got to me, because that man, he was from his youth minister, I believe, like somewhere about his church. He was young. He wasn't like a priest or anything, but he was like, I'm gonna say like 19 years old. And what he said was that Eric was the most honest, genuine, loyal person. He had a passion for the Lord. The things he said was way beyond his age. He was really mature. And I wish I could meet that Eric. I've always met the finger titties Eric, the pants Eric, I don't know. I've never got to meet that Eric, and it really spoke up to me, because you can tell that Eric was an actual good person. And I'll miss you, buddy.